Okay, this is the big one. The Atlantis Rod tier list video is here. We're going to be going over all the new rods and ranking them from worst to best. And yeah, this should be your go-to video for figuring out what the best rod in this update is. I mean, already we're looking at, I got the Poseidon with Clever. What am I doing with that? And I've made a lot of money over the past days, so what's going on with that? Well, yeah, guys, we're going to go over all the rods, including this one right here, the Poseidon one. And if you haven't already, subscribe and post notifications. We're getting about making it go ding. Welcome to Fish. We love Fish here, guys. We love Roblox, so if you do as well, consider subscribing, consider staying for a while and joining the family as we're ever so growing here on YouTube. And now, let's get over to the tier maker and start judging these rods for what they are, because a lot of them kind of suck, I'm not going to lie. But hey, it is what it is, right? Let's go check them out. This is going to be our tier list, and this is going to do us just fine right here. Now, there are a total of like 7 rods that we're going to be ranking in this video. Now, mind you, this video is directed to only ranking the new rods in the game that we got from the previous update, right? Because there's a lot. First and foremost, we want to start off with the Seraphic Rod because it is obviously the best one in this update. It's incredible, like the powerful stats that this give, near instant luring. I mean, the Seraphic Rod is unlike anything we've seen. 95% lure speed, 150% luck. I mean, just reading down some of the stats on this thing, the KG is infinite on this. Honestly, this thing is amazing, and if you're going to enchant the Seraphic Rod, this is like probably going to be your best enchantments. Quantum. I'm probably going to say Quantum here because, it's going to allow for turning it into a good money-making rod. If you're level 1,000, you're not going to need Clever unless you're somehow trying to prep for future levels and already being even further. But, I mean, the total XP needed to reach level 1,000, guys, just to put it into a little bit of perspective for you, is like over 94 million. So, yeah, if you got this rod, chances are you've done more than no-life fish, but you're rewarded for it. And that's one of the good benefits about it, right? So the Seraphic Rod obviously getting the S tier on the list there. We have to. Now, I think one that we should touch on is probably the most expensive rod in this latest update, and that is this one here, the Tempest Rod. Now, you might be like, why in the world is the Tempest Rod over 1.8 million? Honestly, I think the Tempest Rod is actually more expensive than the Heavens Rod, which I would consider the best rod in the game outside. Well, we'll get into that. But yeah, this rod is so expensive, and I'm questioning. Obviously Hasty is going to make up for the low lure speed on this rod because the Tempest Rod has low lure speed, right? So this rod is interesting me. Okay, it offers extremely high resilience and a strong control base, but it struggles in all other aspects. And the low lure speed and mediocre luck on this rod that it has really bothers me, especially for one this expensive. I mean, guys, this is another thing. I'm putting this at C because I also want to point this out with this rod tier list here, guys. A lot of these rods are glitched, and they're going to get patches that's going to make them better, or they're going to get buffed, okay? So I imagine a lot of these rods are going to get buffed, but I'm going to take that into consideration and not just dog this rod completely, right? Like, we're going to assume that this rod is still pretty darn good, maybe in the future. I don't know, dude, but this rod just, it bothers me in that regard. It bothers me. And another rod that bothers me is this rod right here, and it's the Champions Rod. It's worth $1 million, and it has solid stats, but it's so, like, it doesn't make sense, guys. Okay, the Tempest Rod and the Champions Rod, I would not even bat an eye towards these, okay? Because, like, I guess maybe they're going to get buffed for that price tag. Honestly, the Tempest Rod is, like, I can't imagine dropping 1.8 million on that or $1 million on the Champion Rod. And, guys, if you're going to get, if you're like, but I like the Champions Rod, I like the Tempest Rod, just get the Arctic Rod. The Arctic Rod is the all-around better rod. It's the rod everybody can rely on, and I just think the Arctic Rod is is not a bad thing to go with, honestly, at this point. So yeah, as you guys can see, the rods are they're looking a little bit rough sometimes across the board on this update, you know. So let's change it up a little bit. Let's click on this one here, which is the Abyssal Spectre Rod. Now this rod you get from the Ethereal Abyss, annoying puzzle to have to go through. This rod is worth about $1 million. Price-wise, it's becoming more manageable compared to the others, right? It has the highest resilience out of any rod in the game, I think. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it has the highest resilience in any other rod in the game. Now, it does have mediocre stats across the board outside of that, so it really depends, you know, what you're kind of going for. This might be the rod you pick instead of Rod of the Depths. You know, I'm not gonna lie, like the lure speed's 25%. You might consider Rod of the Depths, but then you might want to consider this rod. We can go B tier on the Abyssal Spectral Rod at the current moment, right? So yeah, Hasty would probably be a good enchant for that one too, by the way, guys. So now let's get into some of the interesting ones, okay? Let's get into some of the more interesting ones. Well, we should take Depth Seeker out right now too. It's 125,000. Depth Seeker, it actually offers pretty decent stats, and for that price, I mean, why not pick it up and play around with it, you know? It doesn't have a passive ability though, so I'm gonna probably not recommend this, but if you just want to buy it, it's not like the worst rod. So I mean, it's not the worst. If you go to Atlantis, you're a new player, you might want to scoop you up an Atlantean rod. That might be your go. But now let's get into some of the special ones, and we're going to start with the Zeus Rod. This rod is worth 1.7 million. I've had a chance to actually use this rod, and I would say that I really, really like this rod a lot. It feels good. It's got a lure speed of 40%, 70% luck. Resilience is 15. But honestly, I think some of its passive abilities is what's really kind of making this rod nice, you know, very nice. It's got good passive abilities, and it has like every catch has a 10% chance to turn the nearby area into a thunderstorm, right? So what that means is that the surrounding area is going to have electrical fish, right? So the thunderstorm is gonna boost lure speed, luck for mythical fish, and 95% of the fish will be mutated. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll put that on an A tier. I'm gonna put it in an A tier just because. But right now the passive is glitched a little bit, I think. So that's one of the problems with that, right? So next rod up is gonna be the Kraken Rod. It's 1.3 million. It has a good passive as well. I believe the passive offers a 10% chance to double any fish caught and a 5% chance applied with the Tentacle Surge mutation. After 50 catches, there will also be a guaranteed legendary, mythical, or exotic, depending on the area. So this is kind of cool, and the reason why I'm putting the Kraken Rod in A tier is because, guys, if you're missing a legendary, mythical, or exotic, every 50 catches, you're gonna get one of those, right, in that selected area, and I think that's really beneficial for people trying to fill out the best areas or having a difficulty doing so. So yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, honestly, that's the only rod to do something like that in the game, I believe, and it's all around good rod too. So not a bad rod to pick up, honestly. Now, S tier rod, my opinion, guys, this is my opinion, you know, yours might be different, but mine's gonna be Poseidon Rod in the S tier. This is gonna be the best rod in this update, in my personal opinion. Time will tell, obviously, as patches and buffs come with these updates. You know, they're probably going to buff a lot of these rods and fix a lot. And while I'm recording this, the Poseidon Rod actually is glitched, and one of the passive abilities don't work on this rod. So that's already, and it's still good. So its passive ability is when a fish is caught, it offers a 25% chance to directly reward you with 75% of the fish's base value. That means, like, if you're catching mythicals and legendaries at Atlantean Storm, you're getting 75% of the value. You get a 25% chance just to get like that, and that you guys seen at the start of the video. That's how I've just been accumulating money so much. Not only am I able to sell these fish, I'm already getting 75% of the fish's base value at a 25% chance. You know, boom, boom, boom. as I'm fishing these. So my revenue is just stacking. Then I'm selling the fish and also benefiting from that. So additionally, there is another passive ability that when catching a fish, the user will have a 5% chance for the Poseidon's ghost to spawn. This will give the fish a higher weight, ranging from a 75 to 150 increase. And it will also give it the King's Blessing mutation. This is insane. Now, the only problem is that passive ability is glitched right now and not possible to do. So, you know, it definitely means that, and guys, this rod is all, I recommend this rod over Rod of the Depths. Now, if you have no life rod, you might still want to use no life rod, actually. No life rod, you know, but that's for another segment, right? So that's my tier list. So hopefully this helps you guys, and hopefully I didn't forget a rod. I think I included all the rods. If I didn't, you guys are gonna let me know, I know. But let me know what your favorite rod is in this update and what is your go-to rod. You know, obviously the Poseidon Rod has been what I've just been using constantly. I enjoy it, and once it gets patched and updated and it actually gets fixed, its other passive ability gets fixed, it's gonna be an even better rod. So yeah, I love the Poseidon Rod. It's just getting into the Poseidon Temple is a pain. It is, but I recommend it, honestly. It's rewarding. So yeah, with that aside though, the next rod that I would probably be using a lot is the Kraken Rod. So yeah, love you guys so much. There's my new rod tier list video. Told you guys it was coming, and here it is, and I will see you guys in the next one.